So welcome to another episode of Come to Work with Me. I am Audrey, and today we are having a chat with Chris, and he is a sales exec, which we'll go into shortly. But before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet today, and we acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. And we'd also like to welcome any Torres Strait Islander and Indigenous friends joining us today from over the country, and welcome them and their families to come to work with me. Welcome teachers, students, friends of us that want to learn about different careers. We are so excited to have Chris with us today. So Chris, welcome, hello. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and have a chat.
Yeah, thanks Audrey, and a pleasure to join you and your audience today.
Amazing. So first question, the question I love to ask, who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Chris Mallon. I'm 37 years old and I live in Gisborne, a regional town in Victoria. Started my journey as a motor mechanic and then progressed through operational side, supply chains of business, and then into a national sales role within the ACM Auto Parts Group.
Awesome. So let's take it back. Let's start at the very start. So what was your first job?
So starting at McDonald's was my officially first job. So again, learning that initiative and working within a team environment. Completed my year 11 studies and then went out to be a motor mechanic. So automotive has been something that's been a passion of mine since I was a kid and particularly in the full drive scene. So a really natural progression into a motor mechanic. So did my time through small and medium-sized motor mechanic businesses. Probably about halfway through, 2.5, 3 years in, I really got to that point that I didn't think it was for me and started looking at other options as well into where the automotive industry could take me. So completed my apprenticeship and then moved into the dismantling industry. So to most people's understanding, a wrecking yard in the most part. Exactly. So a vision of scrap cars, oil and dirt and a thing is very different to what it actually is in real life. So worked into that business as a dismantler on the hoist, so using my mechanical skills into that. Then moved into the stock control side of things, so very data driven, isolating the product that the customer required and putting that on the shelf and ensuring that we kept good records. From there, progressed through the business into dispatch and logistics side. So servicing that customer and ensuring delivery times. And then somebody like, at that point, I wasn't a great communicator. I probably didn't see myself as a sales rep, but a particular Christmas, there was a availability for that role, somebody gone on leave. So then went into the sales side and really, really enjoyed it. I loved connecting with customers, servicing them, and just that win when you did sell something or help a customer out, I really thrived on. Once I probably understood the business a lot more, a few years in, I got an opportunity to be a manager. So I started to manage people, lead people from a younger and an older generation. So I look back now and learnt a lot throughout the time. From that side, I did work through a small dismantler, then into a medium, large size dismantler in central Victoria, which I really got my skills up in that space. So a lot more higher demand and expectations, and then went into more the vehicle purchasing side to supply the product into the customer as well. So I learned a lot in that space. Then got a fantastic opportunity with ACM Parts at the time. So come in as a state sales manager. So ACM Parts was a company started by Suncorp, the insurer, and LKQ, which is the US's largest auto dismantler. They started a venture to basically start to supply recycled auto parts to an accident damaged vehicle. So lower the cost of repair, but then also the environmental impact as well. So we're not remanufacturing those parts and the shipping and the packaging and all those kind of different things that come with a recycled auto part. From there, I actually took a little bit of a backward step. At the time, I had about 10 sales staff reporting to me in Victoria. And I come back and worked on my own within the business. So a lot of product and pricing and the warranty side. So the customer expectations, how do we get the right product to the customer? And really found that I really enjoyed the supply chain function of the business. So the demand planning and the right product to the shelf and processes and procedures and things. So something that I look back now in my school age in math, and I really enjoyed that side and never really took that out of my education. And it worked really well for me in that space. And then about 18 months ago, I got another great opportunity to take on the national sales manager role for particularly the mechanical products. So that's your engine, your transmission, so the part that makes the car
The
go.
important parts.
The important part, correct?
Yeah.
That leads the car to the accident damage, so then the collision guys can repair that vehicle. So I did that, and now I lead a team of 16 sales staff nationally. So we're spread from Tasmania through Queensland into Perth as well, so a national presence. And also took on the vehicle purchasing. So we buy in excess of 8,000 accident damage vehicles a year to supply our product. So I've got a team there of 6 that will purchase those vehicles, isolate the product that our customer wants based off demand profiling, and then the supply into our customer base.
Wow, what a journey.
Yes.
So started at Macca's and here we are today.
Yep.
It's great. So you mentioned that you were a diesel mechanic, it wasn't the right fit for you, but you finished your apprenticeship, but you still had the love for cars. So you're still in this industry now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think regardless of what you do or what journey you take, I think the passion for me was the automotive sector. So the easiest entry level role with some kind of qualification. And my parents were quite clear that they wanted me to have something to fall back onto, the old saying. Never go back to being a mechanic, by the way. But it was a really good ground for me to understand the industry, understand the product, which has then really been the reason for success where I am today, that I've really understood the industry and what we're trying to supply to the customer and the expectations.
Absolutely. Now, do you think, having a bit of a young experience in the company and, you're just starting out, do you think your boss was watching you, helping you, seeing something in you that helped you progress? You mentioned earlier that you have never actually applied for a job, and it's sort of it's not what you know, it's who you know in the industry. Have you been able to have the mentors for you that have helped push you along?
I've been extremely fortunate in every business, being the owner of the business, and I owe a lot of my success to each of those people. And then particularly within the ACM business as well today, the senior leadership team at the time, past and present, have been extremely supportive of my progression through the business. It does come as well from a relationship point of view. And if there's anything you're going to take out today, relationship that I've learned, regardless if I'm dealing directly with my customer or I want that repeat business, to a peer-to-peer to get a change within the business that we see in a corporate structure today, to upper management to recognise you that you can progress somewhere further in the business and you've got the skill set to do it. A willingness to say yes and to learn, and there's never ever a backward step. And probably what I highlighted before is I went back. I had nobody reporting to me at the time. I learned more in that time about the business and how it works, so then I could succeed in other roles that I took on at a later date. So the people being supportive of you and putting that little bit extra effort in, turn up to work on time and leaving when the job's done of a day, and really just a say yes attitude, I think in the most part will carry you along in your career regardless of where you start.
Absolutely. Never saying no to certain things and about moving forward. It's great. Now, you said also that you managed a team of both, younger and older generations. How did you find working with, people who were older than you, and, did they find it weird that they had to answer to someone younger than them? I know this is something that is quite often happening now in this world.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And I found the older generation a lot more accepting. Most people toward their end of their career are really willing to see other people come up, and they do invest a lot of time into you, that I found, and really want you to succeed. You don't have that balance for power so much anymore. It was probably trickier with the younger team that were either the same age as me or a little bit younger, that probably didn't accept that I was a manager or I could lead them on the way. So I probably had a few more difficulties in that space, but I still carry on the same thing that we probably all learned when we were kids: treat others like you want to be treated yourself. Understand your market, understand the role you play in that business, and be open to suggestion. I think if you try and make all the decisions yourself and you're trying to push them in a direction, let them tell you what's best, because most of the time the people that will report to you are doing the job and they can see that weakness throughout the business. And I think just be fair and respectful to others.
How important is it in your industry for young people to apply for jobs. And you mentioned before, you're always looking for, there's so many different roles within a company. You're working in sales, but you're also at the moment recruiting for apprentices in panel beating and spray painting and like all different aspects. See, I'm trying to get around this car lingo slowly.
Right. That's okay.
So how important do you think it is for young people to just say, yep, this is something I want to give a go?
I think I look at the automotive industry, and it's one of the, and I was trying to think about this before coming on, that there's not too many industry out there where it can be your passion and hobby, but also your workplace as well. And the automotive industry is something that is very aligned to that. So regardless if you want to be a spray painter because you really love a great finish and you like a bit of perfection and you want that color on, to a panel beater that likes to repair something and you're real hands-on, to a mechanic that likes a speed or a power or a noise and like the mechanical side. There's so many ways that somebody can come into the automotive industry in many different areas. So I think really important to understand if automotive is for you, and then there's so many different career paths and progression opportunities within the industry that will take you a long way.
Which you're a perfect example of, starting as an apprentice mechanic, and now look where you are. It's awesome.
And probably regardless of where I start, I've got two really great team leaders. That one manages my the vehicle purchasing side of the business, and the other one that's the sales. So he runs the day-to-day in the sales. Both guys, one come through it as an apprentice mechanic as well. He ran the vehicle purchasing, really great guy and great manager and leading those people. The other one come in, he didn't get a trade qualification, but went into sales and automotive and been able to achieve some extreme heights within that team as well. And between the group of us, we manage a $35 million revenue target, which is about half the revenue of the business. And then the vehicle purchasing, our highest cost, is ran by a group of guys that are under 37. So it's really great to see young people coming through the businesses as well and putting their stamp on what the customer expectations and what business may look like in the future.
Absolutely. What is your craziest on the job story? What's the craziest thing you've seen, or the coolest thing you've seen? What's something that's just popped straight in your head? Don't think about it, just say it.
It's so working within we're going to come away from the terminology of wrecking yard because it does paint a pretty cool picture of what we are. We are an auto dismantler, a recycler. We supply secondhand product. But we see many customers come to our sites, and one that really sticks out, he wanted a tailgate for a van. So he turned up at a brand new Club Sport. So to the automotive people out there, HSV, $100,000 vehicle. We watched this gentleman strap the tailgate to the roof of his car, wound down the windows and tied it on, and then found out that he couldn't get into his vehicle, so he climbed through the window to then drive off in the middle of Melbourne. So look, we got some great stories. We got some unsafe ones, which we all learn from, with cars falling off hoists.
Yes, no, don't do that
kind of thing.
Anyone listening?
Yeah, that's right. But I think with everything, that your learnings from what you see in the particular people that come to your business or whatever is important.
That is great. I can actually picture that happening. That is ridiculous, but awesome at the same time.
Definitely.
Now, what is the advice you would give your younger self? Would you change anything?
No, I wouldn't. And it's an interesting question, because I think at the time where I thought there was something that I didn't agree with, I look back now and what I learned from that. So when I was a mechanic and I didn't love it and I was going to step away and go do something else, and I pushed myself to complete the course, really made me know, as much as the time I didn't want to be there, I knew that for the greater good and my career progression, I needed to have that there. Managing people I love, and I love leading, and I love the interactions with my team of the day. Going away from no team was also good, because you got more information from all areas of the business, and you built different relationships with internal and external stakeholders. So I think I don't regret anything. I think I'm really comfortable where I'm at, and adding value to a business is what gets me up in the morning.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today and having a chat and helping students and people out there know that there is other progression. You don't have to stay in the one job that you may not be enjoying. You've got other avenues. It's very exciting. And congratulations on being a vet champion.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So if anyone wants any more advice from our vet champions, you can have them come and have a chat to the schools and whatnot as well, which you can find on the Vet Champion website. Of course, you can find lesson plans and There's also surveys and anything else about what we do here at Come to Work With Me on our website. And of course, we have another Come to Work With Me next week. And we are back on Tuesday, which is going to be so exciting because I don't really keep track of the week of the days unless we have Come to Work With Me. They help me prepare for my week. So I'm very excited. We will be learning next Tuesday at 11:15 about working in the disability industry sector and the disability services industry. So lots to learn about. So thank you, Chris. Thank you to ACM Auto Parts for letting you come and have a chat with me today.
That's great. Thank you.
No worries, guys. See you next week.